up to the sound of water lapping against tiles. My eyes fluttered open and I found myself staring at a high ceiling with pale, flickering lights that cast ghostly reflections on the rippling water. The smell of chlorine was overpowering, sharp, and almost suffocating. My body ached as though I had fallen from a great height, but I couldn't remember anything. No crash, no impact, nothing. Just waking up here. The room stretched endlessly in every direction, a maze of pools with crystal clear water reflecting the dim, almost sickly fluorescent lights above. Some pools were shallow, their bottoms visible, while others plunged into darkness, their depths unknowable. The tiles were white, almost clinical, and the faint hum of machinery echoed endlessly, giving the space a surreal, otherworldly quality. "Hello," I called out, my voice trembling. The echo bounced back, distorted, as if the space itself mocked me. I stood up, my legs shaky, and realized my shoes were gone. The tiles were cold and slick beneath my bare feet as I started walking. The sound of my footsteps was swallowed by the expanse, replaced by the constant drip of water in the distance. The air felt damp and oppressive, clinging to my skin. I rounded a corner, expecting to see more pools, but the corridor stretched impossibly long. Its edges warped as if reality itself was bending. The lights flickered and I froze. In the brief moment, darkness, I thought I saw something move in the water when the light returned. The pool was still, undisturbed. A shiver ran down my spine as I continued forward, passing by doors that led nowhere. Some were locked, others open to blank walls or empty rooms filled with knee-high water. One door led to a massive pool with steps descending into the inky blackness. Something about it felt wrong, as if it were alive and watching me. I backed away, my breath quickening, and slammed the door shut. The sound echoed longer than it should have, and I realized the dripping noise had stopped. The silence was deafening, then came the faintest sound of splashing, not from the pools around me, but from somewhere ahead. It was rhythmic, deliberate, as if someone or something was walking through the water. I quickened my pace, turning corners at random, my heart pounding. No matter where I went, the splashing followed, always at the edge of hearing. I tried to convince myself it was just my imagination, but the sound grew louder, closer, until it felt like it was just around the corner. I stopped, pressing my back against a tiled wall, trying to steady my breathing. I quickened my pace, turning corners at random, my heart pounding. No matter where I went, the splashing followed, always at the edge of hearing. I tried to convince myself it was just my imagination, but the sound grew louder, closer, until it felt like it was just around the corner. I stopped, pressing my back against a tiled wall, trying to steady my breathing. I clamped a hand over my mouth, stifling a scream. When the light returned, the shadow was gone, but I could feel its presence, like a weight pressing on my chest. I had to get out. I ran, slipping on the wet tiles, my panic mounting with every step. Pools seemed to change as I moved, the corridors warping and twisting into new configurations. There was no end, no escape. My legs burned and my breaths came in ragged gasps. I could hear the splashing again, now coming from multiple directions. Finally, I found a ladder leading up to a hatch. My heart leaped. Climbing as fast as I could, I pushed the hatch open and emerged into another pool room. This one was darker, colder, and eerily quiet. The water here was black, its surface like a mirror that reflected nothing. The hum of machinery was louder, deeper, vibrating through my bones. And then I heard it. Voice faint and distorted, like someone speaking underwater. "Help me," I turned, and there it was again. The shadow. Only now, it wasn't alone. More figures emerged from the pools, their forms shimmering and unstable as if they were made of water and darkness. They didn't move toward me, but stood silently watching, their featureless faces somehow full of malice. I backed away, my legs threatening to give out. The edge of the pool was slick, and I slipped, plunging into the cold, dark water. It was deeper than it looked, and as I sank, I felt something brush against my leg. I kicked wildly, desperate to reach the surface, but my limbs felt heavy and the light above grew dimmer. When I finally broke the surface, gasping for air, the figures were gone. The room was empty, silent except for my ragged breaths and the faint sound of water dripping in the distance. But I knew I wasn't alone. I would never be alone. I'm still here, wandering the endless halls and pools, chased by shadows that never quite catch me. I don't know how long I've been here. Days, weeks. Time doesn't seem to exist in this place. All I know is that I can't stop moving, because if I do, I'll become one of them.